Hey folks, in this episode, I'm going to talk about that mailbox. Yeah, it's nifty. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen, and I'm going to share a story with you about this mailbox. This sucker is robust. I mean, this thing is tight. It features an iron post that's bolted to the bottom of that mailbox and sunk into the ground about 3 feet. The box itself is real heavy gauged iron. Or a channel iron or box iron. They actually make it at a factory nearby. Now this box has been knocked over on several occasions. I come out and I find the box completely tipped over, laying on the ground. I've had the box just leaning. There's been once that I had a note left behind when the box was completely uprooted and laying down. There was a note there. And the guy left his phone number and address, so I gave him a call and he wanted to settle up with me on the insurance company claim, and I told him it doesn't cost anything, it's just dig a hole and bury the post in there. And he goes, well, your box totaled my car. Well, as you can see, my driveway approach is right up from a curve in the road. And we have a deep ditch right here on the approach to my road. Everything here is legal. It's just the folks that travel the road don't pay attention. We have an average of 3 accidents right here every year. 3. And on some occasions, those accidents plow into my mailbox, and my mailbox ends up totaling the vehicle or wrecking it pretty good. We saw one big truck come up the road around that curve, cut too close on this corner, and ran over my mailbox, tipping it down, and just left a scratch on it. That's all they did, was left a scratch on it. Dented his truck up pretty good, and he got away. It's like, you know, people just have to be careful when they're driving. Now, I want to point out the line on the road changes from year to year, because it changes every time the county decides to repaint the line. You could see the evidence of a previous line there, which actually became closer to my mailbox, and then the new line painted it away from the mailbox. Now, when I first seeded this mailbox 10 years ago, I went online to the U.S. Postal Service and the County Roads Department to find out exactly where is a legal place I need to plant my mailbox. How far back from the fog line or the road line, and how high for the mail carrier. And it has to be in an area where the mail carriers don't run off the road and fall into this deep ditch right here. So as you can see, I have a nice wider shoulder here. That wasn't the case when I planted the mailbox, but I did make sure the mailbox was positioned to the law, on the USPS law and the county requirements for mailboxes. So it was never, ever, ever at any time in an illegal position, regardless of when the county comes in and paints a line or resurfaces the road, paints the line, or even one time they came in and they gave me a wider shoulder and gave me a new conduit or a pipe under the approach to my driveway and lengthened it so I can make wide turns in my driveway with long trailers like the fifth wheels we have. So this has changed. The shoulder of the road has changed over the years. The line moves in and out over the year. And the culvert, that's what it's called, the culvert on my driveway has changed over the years. But the mailbox has never changed, and I always make sure, I measure my mailbox to make sure that every time it's knocked down, I have it at the right height off the surface of the road for the male carriers to, or female carriers to come in and put in the parcels. So if you guys are securing a mailbox in your area, please check the USPS guidelines in your area. It could be internationally or nationally, national guidelines, but also check your county's guidelines for placement of these mailboxes. They may differ. So we bought this mailbox when we purchased the property. We've had the property for 10 years. We've had the mailbox for 10 years. When we lived at the property a mile up the road, we would always get our mail stolen. We'd even get the mailbox stolen. That idiot stole all the mailboxes, broke down at the top of the hill, or ran out of gas. His car loaded with mailboxes was parked off to the side of the road, and he went hoofing it to get gas. Somebody saw the mailboxes in the car, broke down, called the cops, found him, arrested him. We got our mailbox and mail delivered back to our gate so we could reinstall it. So that was a win-win. But now, since we've got this Fort Knox mailbox, I've noticed them cropping up all over the road around here. We live rurally. And this is a steel mailbox, and it locks really well. And I've never lost any mail that I know of out of this box or this type of box, and neither have my other neighbors. I've been noticing recently in posts on Facebook and other platforms that people are complaining about mail theft, mailbox damage, etc., etc. So here's a Homestead hack, a tip. Order you one of these mailboxes. It's a Fort Knox mailbox. Yes, Fort Knox has been knocked over a couple of times, but the damage is minimal. We were fortunate to live within driving distance of the actual factory of these Fort Knox mailboxes. So my wife and I were able to save a boatload of cash in shipping charges, because these things are heavy, to drive down to Merlin, Oregon, where the factory is, which is right across the street from the big manufacturing warehouse for Dutch Bros Coffee. Yep, they're across the street from each other. So we drove down there, grabbed the mailbox, brought it in, set it up. And from time to time I have to reset it, but it's always set legally and appropriately. So there's no reason anybody should be running over my mailbox. They're not paying attention, and I'm finding out they're usually on their cell phone while navigating to the work or whatever. Or, yeah, that. Well, I'm Jerry Hansen, your host. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm, a frugal homestead tucked high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest. Please stay tuned to more videos. You can do that by subscribing and clicking that bell icon that alerts you to new videos as I upload them. Give us a thumbs up, click that share button. Sharing my videos on your social media platforms helps us out. Leave a comment. Please be safe, always be kind. We'll see you guys in my next adventure, and I'll watch to see what other victim becomes of my mailbox. Bye-bye now.